Hello everyone, my name is Jim Noden from Bright Eye Solar. I want to talk to you a little bit today about the carbon footprint, the carbon output of solar energy versus more traditional forms of energy such as coal, oil, and natural gas. The common misconception is that solar panels require just as much carbon footprint as the traditional forms of energy. I see the comments all the time on social media stating that the solar panels will never recover the amount of carbon needed to manufacture the solar panels, for the materials of the solar panels, and of course, transportation and installation with the trucks and everything like that. Listen, solar is not perfect, okay? But every energy source does require a carbon footprint. But I'm here to say and to show you that the carbon footprint from solar is significantly less than the carbon footprint from oil, coal, and natural gas. So keep in mind that coal, oil, natural gas, they require continuous mining and they continuously burn fossil fuels, creating smog and pollution in the air. It's completely different. So the solar panels, when we talk about the CO output, the carbon output, it's during manufacturing, okay? So what is needed to manufacture a solar panel? We can look at that, and what it's been determined is it takes about 1 to 4 years to offset the amount of carbon needed to produce one solar panel. Now, I say 1 to 4 years because it depends on which solar panel is installed and where it's installed. There's some areas that are sunnier, have more sunshine than other areas, but 1 to 4 years. Keep in mind, the solar panels themselves, they produce electricity for decades. So the solar panel has a warranty from the manufacturer for 25 years. So you can expect the solar panel to produce that clean energy for 25 plus years. And we're offsetting the carbon to manufacture it in 1 to 4. That's a big difference when you compare it to fossil fuels, which needs consistent mining and burning of the fossil fuels. Fossil fuels do create ongoing air pollution. People often focus on solar panel manufacturing while ignoring the daily pollution from fossil fuels. Burning coal, oil, and natural gas, they release carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and fine particulate matter. These pollutants contribute to climate change, smog, acid rain, and respiratory illness. Solar power produces electricity without combustion, and it avoids these ongoing emissions. Solar also uses much less water. Traditional power plants often require enormous amounts of water for cooling. This is something that's much often overlooked. Solar panels themselves require very little during the operation, and they help reduce the pressure on the water sources, especially in drought-prone areas. This is an environmental advantage that often gets overlooked. Solar panels are also increasingly recyclable. And you hear that a lot where people are like, well, what do you do at the end of the lifetime? We have no way of recycling them. Well, that's not true. There's not a plentiful amount of recycling centers out there. Not necessarily cheap. I know when we have old solar panels, and out of the hundreds of thousands we've installed, I think we've had to get rid of maybe a dozen or so. And we are charged, I think, $5 to $10 per solar panel for them to be recycled. I think that's going to change over time. Right now, they are able to use the glass. They are able to use the aluminum in the framing. And in the future, they're going to figure out the silicone and how to use the rest of the solar module. Why is it not now? Well, because there's not a huge need for it. Solar panels haven't been installed with the masses, and since they've only been installed with the masses since about 2010. So we're nowhere near that 25-year life cycle, but in the next 10 to 15 years, we'll see more research and development come out of the recycling, more business will pop up, the recycling will be more efficient and cost less, and it will make sense. Just like it has for anything else, batteries, anything else that we recycle, that all takes a little bit of time. Yes, there is some mining that happens with solar panels. We have to mine the silicone to create the ingots and the wafers for the solar cells. But keep in mind that mining isn't unique to solar. Critics often point out mining the materials used in solar panels and batteries, but solar requires an upfront amount of materials. But if you think about fossil fuel, that is continuous. It's continuous mining. That's exactly what it is. You're mining to burn that fuel that you got from mining every single day for decades upon decades upon decades. In other words, fossil fuels don't avoid mining. They require it continuously. Solar isn't impact-free. Panels require materials, manufacturing, and eventually recycling. But scientists compare the entire life cycle of energy sources, and solar produces far less greenhouse gases pollution, uses less water, and avoids the continuous fuel extraction and emissions that come with fossil fuels. The question isn't whether solar has environmental impacts, it's which energy has fewer impacts. And the evidence shows solar is significantly less than fossil fuels.